All right, everybody, welcome back to another podcast here, the Contractors of Colorado podcast. Special thanks to the Business Foundry where we're sitting. We have a fun episode today, and we are with James of First Choice Windows, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. So, James, welcome to the podcast, my man.
Thanks, Cooper, for inviting us out here today. We're excited to be on your show.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for coming in. I've got to know you now for a couple months, coming through the network, attending the events. But really, I think just help the audience understand what is First Choice Window and Siding. Maybe how did you even get started? Like, you from Colorado? How'd you get involved in this sort of business?
Yeah, definitely. So First Choice was actually founded 30 years ago by Tom Haynes, which was a framer. Then he started installing windows and started installing siding. And he found that there was a niche for just windows and siding and created our company. I met Tom quite a few years ago. Before I came to work for him, I came out of the automotive world, and I wanted a change in life. I wanted to go back into construction, which I had been in once before with my family. And so I kind of learned everything from the ground up. Like, I didn't know anything. Like, they had to teach me how to use a basic tape measure, in all honesty. I mean, I knew how to read it, but not to the level of what a contractor does.
Yeah, measure once, cut twice.
Yeah, 100%.
So what type of projects would you guys normally take on? Is this to homeowners? Do you work with other major GCs, or how do you kind of interact in your business with the public?
So we're more direct to the homeowner. You bought a house, you've lived in a house for 30 years, it's time to do a remodel. We don't build new homes type things. So if you have existing windows, we come in and do a replacement. If your siding's damaged from a hailstorm, something like that, we would come in and do a repair. You know, maybe your siding's the original siding from 30 years ago. It's time to do a color change and a face up, you know. It's like buying a new car. Let's take your house and make it pretty again.
Yeah. Especially in Colorado, probably with the weather, the sun, the wind, the rain. Maybe does that impact maybe more so than other areas in terms of upgrades and keeping it, even just dry, safe, and operational. Looking good is obviously always a nice benefit of doing this, but also just for your home's value and ongoing durability of your house.
Yeah, 100%. So if you get into a home and you get your siding gets damaged, what you got to look at is it allowing water in the home? Is it putting more storm stuff on your roof? Is allowing it to get to the under materials, things of that nature? And then you become the eyesore on the block. And we all know the wife doesn't want to be the eyesore on the block. She wants to be the queen, right? So give her house the facelift that she truly wants, make her stand out, make all the neighbors want to come talk to her about how beautiful her house is. It's kind of like having a new truck in the driveway and we polish it up, right? Because we want the guys across the street mowing the yard to come talk about our new truck. Do the house the same way. That's how you have to treat it.
How does HOA ever factor into any of the work? Because I know, everyone's kind of generally familiar with an HOA and requirements. Do you all ever find yourself kind of in those conversations with homeowners about what they, like their guidelines or navigating that at all? Or does that ever come up?
Yeah, so HOA is probably about 30% of our business, where I have to go and review the documents, determine what we can and we cannot do. I have to write proposals to the HOAs just like I would to an insurance company. Yesterday I was required to have about 11 different documents on top of their packet to go out to an HOA in a 55-plus community. Like, I have to give them architectural drawings, and they want to know about the type of glass that's going in the window. Sometimes it's, oh, no, that window's going to be too dark. Or, you have to have grids, and you have to have at least this many grid bars. So the HOA actually plays a bigger factor than even the homeowner in some cases.
That's interesting, yeah. Okay, yeah, then on that vein, I think because a lot of homeowners, I know myself, I was almost overwhelmed of I know there's HOA guidelines. I know if I needed to coordinate this, backyard patio roof that we put on, it was almost overwhelming. Do I do some of that research? Do I rely on the contractor or home service pro that's going to come out and do the work? So seems and maybe we can broaden it a little bit. What can a homeowner expect when you guys come out? Is it a kind of a consultation walkthrough? They submit you stuff ahead of time, or kind of walk me through what's your all's process? If someone reaches out to you brand new, what can they expect?
So we have a couple different ways to do that, and a lot of it depends on the homeowner. So when you reach out to us, you're looking for new windows, you come in, you meet a consultation specialist, He goes over the products that you would like as the homeowner. Then we take that to the next step. Okay, now you have an HOA. We need you to supply us with all your HOA documents because some of it's in a portal. We don't have access to it. I can't deal with it. You have to be the one to deal with it, but I can prepare everything for you. And I have ran across that with homeowners where they're like, oh, my last contractor told me I had to deal with it and he didn't want nothing to do with it. I want to take on your HOA for you and help you get what you're asking for. Because sometimes it's the way it's worded to the HOA that if we're going to get an approval or not. So, I take all the photos. I do all the markings on the photos. We do the architectural drawings from the manufacturer, and I just supply a lot of times more than the HOA even requests. Almost a shock and awe factor. Oh, wow, they're prepared. Let's go ahead and approve it for them. But yeah, you reach out to us. Let us deal with the HOA for you on your project, and kind of sit back and be okay.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, because people are making investments into the house, right? And I think that it's so I love contractors and home service pros that take the educational role in helping people do it. Because I think, like any consumer, like people are generally on guard, right? Am I going to get sold something? Is this going to be the right thing I want? I think if the early process of like education focused and like, hey, like showing them the option, showing them that you're going to essentially kind of hold their hand through the process is comforting, but also ultimately helpful because they might don't know what they don't know, right? They might just quickly decide, oh, I want this product because I saw it online, versus your educational approach, telling them the benefits and the pros and cons of different elements is helpful. So I think that's awesome. I think more home service professionals and contractors in general just taking the approach of, hey, they're leaning on you for your expertise, right? And yes, you want to build a business, you want to grow a business, but be that person, because they're at a kind of a vulnerable spot in their life. Like they're like, okay, we're gonna have to spend, this hailstorm just damaged this. Now we got to spend 10, 20 grand, whatever it may be. They're already kind of emotionally a little bit on charge, right? So I think that's kind of a wise approach.
Always, yeah. Educate the homeowner. It'll be an easier process all the way to the end.
And most people appreciate that. And I think if you lead with that, it works well. Let's talk about products, because I think obviously if you're a homeowner, you might not even be aware of all the different products and versions. What's the best, what's top line, what's builder grade, like all these type of things. How do you all go about your relationship with the products that you sell, the manufacturers, and then using that to help the homeowner understand what you guys would be installing at their house?
Yeah. So with a question like that on products that we're going to sell, we're not going to sell you a product that I won't put on my own house. I'm not going to sell you a window I wouldn't put in my mother's house. So when I explain a window to you, it's how is the window designed? How is the window built? Where is it built? We do support, U.S. made products. Is this a product I'd put on my own house? A window I would put in my wife's, master bathroom that she has? Yes, 100%. I don't go to big box stores and just buy what's on the shelf, put it in your home. With that being said, sometimes that's all the homeowner needs, but at the same time, we're not a large marketing company that is selling you marketing, not a product. I'm focused on the product. When we come out, we're going to give you options. I'm not coming with one window. It's, I can give you 3 different types of windows that are options. Let's walk around your house. Let's ask some questions. Let's better understand what you want out of your window or even your siding. And let me give you the options that I think will work best for you. And then we go from there. Sometimes it gets down to price. Sometimes it's, oh, wow, I didn't realize that product was made here and it does this. And that product I was looking at the big box store yesterday didn't do that. Well, we can show you that.
That's cool. All right, let's talk about the geographic area that you guys serve, right? Colorado's a big state. We got the Rocky Mountains on our west. We've got, Fort Collins up north. We've got Colorado Springs in the south. People watching this, coming across your guys' profiles, like where can you guys do business, and where can you come out to and help people with these products?
So currently we pretty much the Denver metro. We're about 15 miles south of Castle Rock. We'll go up into the mountains, Evergreen, Sedalia, places like that. We'll go all the way out up into Longmont, and even as far east, we go out not quite to Lyman, but I mean, if the case is necessary, we could go all the way to Lyman. Eventually, we plan on expanding all the way to, Colorado Springs, Monument, all in that area. And if you've been on our website, you'll see we're starting to implement some of that for traction. And in the next year, we'll expand that far out. But we can help in multiple different ways.
Yeah. Any fun projects that come to mind? Any kind of particular challenging ones or any interesting ones that you guys have completed that was at the end of it, everyone was happy, but it was a story to tell, any aspect like that?
Yeah. My biggest stories that I like to tell are my insurance claim stories, because sometimes you'll get that phone call from the homeowner and it's like, I've had 5 contractors I've contracted with and none of them can get the work done. They just disappear. So I take those personal almost, and I like to go out on those and do all the work to get to the insurance company to find out why. And then I can explain to the homeowner like, well, hey, your insurance policy just doesn't cover what you're expecting it to. Or, hey, they totally just didn't do the paperwork properly. Insurance companies, they're like lawyers, right? You have to dot your I's, cross your T's, and verbiage is king. And I have a lot of pre-written stuff that I reuse over and over and over with the insurance companies. But we just finished a project that had 3 homeowners, or 3 different contractors, tell the same homeowner that they couldn't get the project done. It had 2 walls of siding that was damaged. And I sat down and I analyzed the issue, and I found what they were all missing, right? The product had been discontinued, and it was, how do we prove to the insurance company that it's a discontinued product and get them to cover the whole house? So I got them the whole house covered. All 4 elevations got new siding, and she got to choose colors. Because at that point, I'm not going to put the same brown tones you have on the wall unless that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
She got to pick the colors that she really wanted the house, just the house met her needs other than the color. So I got a really happy wife out of the project. The husband was even happier because the wife was super happy about the whole deal. And I kind of left him out. I was like, let me deal with the wife, let her pick colors, and me and you will just deal with the financials on the end.
Yeah.
So it was a win-win for both sides of the family there. And I got some good content for future. You'll see that house show up here on Facebook quite a bit in the next month or so.
That's awesome. I love it. No, I think what you've outlined two things. I'm trying to put myself in the homeowner's shoes, guys, is that one, the HOA element, and then also on the insurance side. So it seems like you all take proactive approaches to both of that. Hey, yeah, we'll work with the HOA, we'll coordinate it, we'll help you read the documents, help us get the documents in our hand, and we can do our thing. And then also the insurance side of, if someone does have damage from wind, hail, storm, whatever it may be, tree falls on the siding, rips it all off the house, that you guys are not only experienced in working with the insurance companies, but also can be a little bit of that kind of de facto counselor in that process as well.
Oh, definitely. So I take that, probably one of the biggest features of our company is that we will step in and help you with the HOA, help you with the insurance company, because you get further helping the homeowner better understand. There is some legal things that I can't get involved with between the HOA and insurance work, but I can guide you in the right direction. To make you ask the right questions. I can ask you questions that I can't ask those companies, and then you can reiterate those questions to get the answers to the next step, maybe get the approval taken care of. And a lot of times HOAs in their paperwork will call grids something other than grids, right? They name it something else so that you don't understand when you're reading it. It's like, it doesn't say that. Well, it does. There's 5 other, terms for that same one.
It's true.
And we just got to understand how it's written and how to ask properly to do something. A lot of HOAs require grids. If you drive around HOAs in the Denver, the Park, or Aurora, most HOAs have grids. Most of them allow you to remove grids, but you have to do all the windows, not just the one elevation or one or two windows. So if you want to do something, you have to look at it that way too. They may come back and say, okay, yeah, you can do that, but you need to do all the windows in your home in order to do that.
Wow. Yeah. And how would you ever know that without like working? Yes.
The paperwork does not tell you
explicitly say that. Yeah. Yeah. That's tricking me. You got to read the fine print or help someone that knows how to read their.
You got to have someone that knows, I've ran across it enough to say, hey, if you really want to do that, we have to ask.
Yeah.
But you have to be prepared of this is the answer they're going to give us. And I'm going to forewarn you now. And they're like, oh, okay, well, that maybe puts us out of our budget. Well, it's like, so let's talk about that. Let's get involved in maybe some financing and get you prepared if they do come back and you can actually have what you're asking for. Are you willing to go that far?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about operations. I think a lot of guys listen to the podcast, see on the group, and just curious. I think just, what's this guy do? What's his role out in this company? I see you carry 3 phones. We've joked about it. You're a man on the dials. You're very responsive to leading the crews. Talk to me about like what is that role and in the life of, even if we have some young people watching that or judging between trying to go to maybe college or work in the trades or be an operations manager and kind of take a different route. Maybe talk to the audience really about what's it like in the day in the life running and managing a lot of these crews and the customers and managing insurance. And what are some of the elements and skills that you've had to like hone over the last couple of years working in this role?
Yeah. So skill levels definitely been increased a lot in the last probably 4 years for me. Because when I first came on, I was actually hired to do social media and marketing, and that was boring. I didn't have enough things to do in my day, right? I'm not a 4-hour kind of guy or an 8-hour kind of guy. I like to go. And so I seen where there was openings within the company that I could take on additional workflow and help others and grow the company at the same time, which in turn put me into the operations manager's position. Because I wasn't scared to go out and learn the crews and talk to the homeowners and learn the products, so I could fill in for the sales team if the sales team, got sick or got held over on a appointment with another homeowner. I could go out and look at a project and say, okay, well, this is the cause of the damage. Let's solve your problem. And then I was able to solve the crew. Right? The crew all liked me. I was able to understand them from both perspective, right? As an installer, from my automotive world, being an installer there, I look at things different than just a desk person. But with my age, I'm calm enough to handle the operations side. So I don't get to deal with just, crews, homeowners. I deal with all the manufacturers. I deal with all the distributions, the deliveries. I handle and help all the marketing. I handle customers from initial lead from the website or from a phone call all the way to the very last portion of asking for a Google review. But I had to make myself willing to accept that I'm not paid to be here for one thing and be open with my vision of where do I want to be within the company. And, in 10 years, I want to have 5 or 10 of me running around, asking me for guidance, and having them all run their own crew and run their own, department and make it worthwhile.
You might have 5 phones by that time.
I hope to reduce it to 1 phone by that.
Go the other direction. That's funny. Yeah, it's important lesson. Look, I mean, like anything in entrepreneurship and small business, it's a continuous learning process, and business is tough. Business is hard, right? I mean, but having that mentality of, I'm going to wear multiple hats, but it's gonna advance our mission, and I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to hopefully train other people so we can continue to scale business. On that vein, are you guys hiring? Do you do seasonal hiring? Do you do full-time positions? As you all, ebb and flow and grow the business, is there ever expansion times to where if people are listening and they want to work in this sort of role, first of all, what would that be if it would be something that you guys would be hiring for?
So hiring, we're always hiring, and there's multiple different layers of hiring within a company like ours. We're always looking for good window installers. We're always looking for good siding installers, and soon to come January 2026, we're going to be looking for roofing guys, sales, install, just crew in general at that point, because we're going to expand. A phone room person, somebody that can answer the first call from a homeowner, put them on a schedule, get them ready to go out to a specialist. Always looking for to grow that team, because the phone does ring quite a bit. So you want to be, being that your phone rings 7 days a week, and sometimes you need 2 or 3 people to do that same job. And that's where one of the phones I have now is I take the overflow on the phone calls when that team's backed up. So in order to reduce my phone count, I got to hire some bodies. But first I have to build it where the phone rings, and then in every direction to be able to pass that phone on to the next employee that we train. So yeah, reach out to us if you're in siding. You can install doors. If you like to do sales, it doesn't have to be construction sales. I mean, if you've sold cars for the last 20 years, you know how to talk to people. I can teach you materials, products, and I have all the tools to give you in the home to, change your career, right? Don't be scared. I did. In my mid-40s, I realized that laying on the ground underneath a car wasn't going to do justice for me. 5 days a week, and people's houses are always going to need repaired, no matter what.
We're headed into, what is today? Today is October 20th. We're headed into the fall, winter season. Homeowners looking at projects, maybe they're thinking about it for the early spring. What would be your guidance with them at this stage if they are kind of considering a project within the next 3 months with you all? Like, what's the best way to kind of start a process? Kind of how long of a period of time will you kind of work with them if we're gearing up to doing it in the future, in the spring? Like, what's kind of in their mind if they come across this right now and then they're considering doing some of these upgrades? What would be your advice to get started, quote unquote?
Well, with that being said, the one thing everybody has to think about going into the winter time is I can't remove windows and do a lot of the work when it's below 30. Because you don't want me in your home taking windows out when it's below 30 for one as a homeowner. But at the same time, if you're looking for something for, let's say, March or April as an install, now's the perfect time to get involved in that. The only thing you have to think about is January comes, most of the manufacturers do price increases. So if I give you a number in November, in April, it may be different. But we can lock in, right? You can sign a contract now, even though you don't want us to install in April. Give us a small deposit. I can commit to the inventory, to the distribution, and lock the price in before the end of the year. And we hold to have it manufactured till next year.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that's something good to look at. Sometimes it takes a while. Like we had one we went on last night. We've been out there 7 times trying to decide colors of the home. Really big home. It's got 42 windows in it, lots of siding. And we started this process actually in January of this year. And it's now October, and they finally have came to the conclusion of this is definitely the window we want, the color on the interior, color on the exterior on the window. And with the color on the siding they chose, which was a custom color, it takes 4 months to have it made, painted, sent out, verified that that's the color they truly want, and then go into manufacturing. So we'll lock everything in here at the end of the year, and that'll be a probably April install.
Okay, awesome. What keeps you motivated, man? It's tough. It's everyone has different motivations in life and in business, but what keeps you hungry and wanting to grow? And as you grow into your profession, is there any kind of just guiding principles that you've had over your career of just, sticking with stuff and then continue to learn like we've talked about? But what keeps you coming back?
Well, I'll tell you, my family more than anything, right? I have young children that are actually in their teens now, but showing the drive of coming back every day to them more than anything, teaching them as they grew up, has made me think more. And, with technology changes with them around the house, it makes you start researching the technology to keep up with the kids more, which then you're like, oh, well, hey, we could use that in the business. So let's go out and try the technology, sources with the homeowners. And then the excitement of the homeowner seeing their new home being completed is like giving a 16-year-old a brand new car.
Right.
Sometimes it's the greatest, just the love in general is what keeps coming you back.
Yeah. I mean, homes are our most intimate spaces. We all retreat to our homes. That's where our family's at. That's where we hide from the world when the day's done. That's where we invite our family over. And you're directly helping upgrading and making beautiful and functional the place that they maybe the most sacred place in their entire family, right? I mean, that's the home.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome.
You know, always remembered as a kid going to my grandmother's house, and there'd be 50 of us in her little kitchen that really only could seat maybe 6. But it was the greatest time of the year. So she was happy to show off her home every year, something new that she did to her home and show off to her grandkids and her kids and everything. So that kind of makes it an aspect of life. Like, what's going to happen at Thanksgiving when you redid this lady's house and she's going to show it off to all her family? Like, how excited is she going to be? So you think about that every day.
First Choice Window and Siding, James, where can people find you? How can they get in contact with you? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys and start working with you guys?
Well, I'll tell you, you can call us on the phone, 720-580-3000. You can find us on the interweb, firstchoicewindowsandsiding.com. You can interact us on the website, on the phone. You can text us, email us. You can find all that right there on the website, on Google, on Yelp. We're available to you just about 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, James. Appreciate you joining the Contractor Colorado podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you want to explore more resources that Contractors of Colorado offers, go to contractorsofcolorado.com. Join our private Facebook group of over 23,000 contractors. Come into the Business Foundry and work and grow your business. We work with many different contractors on things like marketing, bookkeeping, the events, the relationship building, and at a minimum, we can be a community and build some camaraderie in the industry. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.